Today, let's chat about lessons. There are some lessons in life that need to be experienced in order for them to be learned. How many times in life are we told to not do certain things? Making sure that every decision that we make, everything that we do, has some reasonability within it. Making reasonable decisions, consulting with your elders or your peers before you choose to do something. And we have all these lessons that are thrown upon us by our parents, our teachers, our caregivers, anyone that has looked after us. And if they're older than us and have experienced a lot more life than us, they have a need and they honestly have a bit of an obligation to give you some bit of lessons that can be applicable to your life and that you can take away. Now, this is just for me. Me growing up, I always had people in my life telling me things to watch out for, to not do this thing, make sure I go down this path, make sure I do said thing. And that is exactly what anyone or any kid needs in their youth. They need good influences around them. And luckily, I had those. But naturally, just naturally, and if you're anything like me, there are some things, there are some lessons, there are some things that you were told when you were a kid that you just don't follow. You want to carve your own path, you want to do your own thing. Every kid is stubborn. Some of the common lessons that we are taught, and I have a list of them right here. Look both ways when crossing the street. Make sure you get your education, stay in school, take care of your health, be active, eat healthy, don't get into debt, be smart about who you hang around, make smart decisions and think them through, ask your parents or your peers. Money doesn't buy happiness. You can't please everyone. Don't speed when driving your car. Drive safe. Save your money. Don't gamble. Make smart investments. You don't always get what you want. Treat others how you want to be treated. You guys get the point. These are just some of the things that popped right into my head of lessons that we are taught when we are young. And these accumulate and these compound the older we get. And also, all of those lessons that I just mentioned, they are either voiced to us or they are mentioned to us in some way, shape, or form when we are growing up. But when we start getting into our later teens, when you're like 16, 17, 18, you get into college, your early 20s, we start learning things. We can read, we have teachers, we have all these mini experiences that happen to us that give us a glimpse of what we are capable of, what we want to do, and we start accumulating this knowledge and it starts to compound a lot faster when we're young because so much is getting thrown at you and you're just a sponge. You're taking in all this stuff. That's when I feel like our ego kicks in a little bit. You have this sense of entitlement where, hey, I know what I'm doing with my life. And I feel like this is extremely common for people in their early 20s. I am also someone who is guilty of said thing or this thing. You think you know everything. You think that everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing is absolutely correct, and any advice or any criticism or any critiques that you receive from other people, let alone your family or your close friends, you tend to not take it seriously because internally you're like, oh no, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish. I got this. And this type of attitude, which again, I feel like has a grip on a lot of young people, results in us making a bunch of dumb decisions. And when you make those dumb decisions, I've had my fair share of dumb decisions this past 6 months, this past year, these past couple years, let alone the past 4 or 5 years. I've made a lot of dumb decisions, but it's when I make those dumb decisions that I learn the most. You take away the most from that experience and you know to not make that mistake again, or at least even if you think about doing that thing again, you know what mistakes not to make. And you're just a lot more aware of all situations. Like if you're a boxer and if you're in your first match and someone kept hitting you with like a 1-2, and if you get in that ring with that same person again, you know that, okay, I have to block this 1-2 and I have to make sure that everything that I do, I am preventing this man as much as I can from landing this 1-2 punch combo because I've been in the ring with this man before. I know their tendencies, I know what they're doing. I need to avoid that. It's the same with making mistakes. There is no learning, there is no growth, there is no better version of yourself if you don't fall on your face a couple times, if you don't get crossed up, if you don't let life kick you in the butt a little bit. All the things that I just like listed out above, you can also give the opposite examples for lessons that you learn once that thing happens. So let's say if you don't look both ways when crossing the street and you just go, you start jaywalking, You almost get hit by a car. Then what happens? Okay, shoot, I almost just got hit by a car. I need to actually make sure that both sides are clear before I decide to make a run for it or cross the street. You want to take care of your health and be active? Okay, well, you spend the first 20 years not being healthy, not taking care of your health. Okay, well, now you're fat. Now that you're fat, what are you going to do? Now, lesson is learned. Okay, dude, I got to take care of my health. I'm in that exact phase right now. I know I have to take care of my health. I didn't prioritize it that much. And I still feel like I don't prioritize it enough as I should. So that's a lesson that I'm learning the hard way, which I'll get to in a second. Don't get into debt. You get into debt, you have 100,000, 50,000, $25,000 worth of debt that you not have to pay off. And it's this big burden on your shoulders when you knew in the first place that do as much as you can to stay out of debt, live frugally, try to do well to get scholarships. Don't get into credit card debt. Don't spend money that we don't have. Don't take out personal loans. Now that you're in debt, okay, well, let me learn that lesson. Let me spend a couple years, 5 years paying off all this debt that I owed. And now I shred up all my credit cards and I don't ever use a credit card again. I'm strictly using debit cards. So I don't get into any credit card debt. I'm not taking out no personal loans. And God forbid I go back to school. So I don't have to take out loans. Boom, lesson learned. The opposite could be attached to all of these, right? Like making smart money decisions, making smart investments. Okay. Save your money. You don't save your money, you have nothing at the age of 25 and you have to slave away for the next 5, 10 years to get all that money back while also having responsibilities, insurance, car payments, rent. It's a lot harder. Boom. Lesson learned. Not going to make that mistake again. This actually reminds me of a very funny quote, something that my dad always told me. He tells me a lot of things, but when I was like 18 or 19, 20 years old, he'd always be like, "Okay, well, now you're entering the real world." I don't know why that was so hard to say. You're now entering the real world. That's also something that I tell myself often too is like, dude, I'm in the real world now. I got bills, I got responsibilities, I got to pay insurance. In a couple years, I'm going to have to start paying health insurance. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come in the next couple of years. But I feel like at the age of 18, 19 years old, that's when you really start entering the real world. At least that's how it was for me when I started working. For most, I also feel like it's like that when they get out of college and start working their first job. Now you're in the real world. You have coworkers, you're in corporate America. You, I don't know, put on a fresh 10 pounds once you enter your job because every couple times a week they're giving you good food, they're doing all this other stuff, but at the same time, you're also faced with the stress of the real world. My dad always used to tell me that. I don't know why I just thought about that. But let's talk about some of my lessons that I had to experience in order for me to really learn them. One of them, I got a speeding ticket. This was 2.5 years ago. But before that, I would speed like a mofo. I was not slowing down. I was going 20 above the speed limit at all times. And do I still not speed now? No, I still do, but I pick and choose my times as to when I speed. Watch, my luck is so bad. I'm probably going to have to go drive in a little while here. Watch me get a speeding ticket. If I manifest this, it will suck for me, but it'll be so funny for the listeners of this podcast cuz yeah, I manifested it. I got a speeding ticket. My dad always told me, he's like, "Hey, when you start driving," I started driving in 2018. For 3.5 years, I was good. I never got a speeding ticket. I never got none of that. I got one speeding ticket going 35 and a 25, which was dismissed. I don't consider that a real ticket because it wasn't on my record. The ticket that I did get and the one that is on my record, I was going 90 and a 70 in Wisconsin, and those highway state cops, they are no people to mess around with. They don't give a fluff. They will just stick one on you. I had to pay a speeding ticket of $278. If I wanted to contest it, I would have to go back to Wisconsin in court, which I was like, dude, I'm not driving back another 3.5 hours. So I just paid it. That was a horrible experience. My insurance and premium shot up. And I was also dumb because I didn't go do like 6 months of the drivers the driving classes in order to get that removed off my record. I don't know why I never did that, but I'm still working it out with my insurance to try and get that removed. Super, super bad decision on my part. But also, now I know, even if I do speed, pick and choose when to speed, but just don't speed in general. If you guys are listening to this, I'm probably giving a horrible example right now. Don't speed. Just follow the law, follow the speed limit. Go 5, 10 miles above the speed limit. That's all. You'll be okay. The second one is being a people pleaser. Oh my goodness. I had to be a people pleaser to realize how poorly they affected my life and affected me. I was only worrying about making sure that everyone else around me and everything that I said or did was in alignment with other people, never myself. And that is something I'm still working through. And it's something learning still today that, like, dude, you are the only person that you have to please. No one else. You and your significant other, like, literally, that's it. Not not everyone else. And I had to experience the pain of pleasing other people, going through that stress, feeling that anxiety, feeling those down times of, man, like, what is this person going to think? Or like, why am I not able to do this for this person? Why am I not able to get this thing done when they said they needed me to do this thing? Whatever it is, I needed to go through that in order to realize how horrible it is to be a people pleaser. The third thing was being smart about who I surrounded myself with. When I was in college, when I was even in high school, I didn't really have a grasp or even the intention to be aware of the type of people that I was hanging around. It was like whoever I was near or whoever my acquaintances were in all classes, I would just kind of like hover around, be around them. And I guess I wasn't ever mindful of like trying to go out of my way to meet the right people. I still haven't done that. And that's why I'm such a homebody and to myself. And I have such a core group of friends, and it's just a couple people. And the reason I like keeping it that way is because it saves me from even having to deal with having the wrong people in my life, but it's also bad because I'm not going out and trying to meet others. I guess I'm kind of in the season of my life right now where I'm just alone trying to figure myself out, learning how to accept myself, love myself, trust myself. And in order for me to do that, I want to spend as much time alone as possible, hence why I haven't really branched out to make friends or try and meet other people. I made episodes a lot in the past, I think from like 50 to 150, 50 to 125, 150 even too, where I was trying a lot or where I was talking a lot about meeting strangers and going out and talking to them. Even that, like, I haven't really been doing. There is so much value in it, and I just try now when I'm out in public to just make a stranger smile or make someone else's day by just saying, "Hi, how are you? How's your day going? What's been the highlight of your day?" Just giving a nice smile, even at those days where I'm not feeling good. Just smiling at someone and looking at them and saying thank you for whatever they're helping you out with, that will go a long way. Being smart about who you decide to stick around, even if that means yourself, has been a big game changer. Like, you get to pick and choose who your influences are in this life, and I would much rather have it be just myself and have it be me, my significant other, and a couple of my close friends. That's all I really care about, at least in this season of my life. When I am in the season of like going out of my way, meeting other people, and doing all that, I will be here to broadcast it and let y'all know. But right now and lately, I've just been to myself. And the last thing that I had to experience in order for me to learn as a lesson, and that is this is a good one. Love is a choice, not a feeling. I used to be so attached to the idea that if I'm not always feeling love or if I'm not always having feelings of bubbliness and these feelings of just constant joy and happiness and peace at all times, that means that like I'm not in love or that I'm not prioritizing a relationship or that this isn't the right person for me. No. Love is a choice. And that is something that I had to experience. Like, I had to experience the repercussions of thinking that it was all about love and or not love. It was all about feelings, because that's not it. A good healthy relationship will be 10 times harder in my opinion than a toxic one. And take this advice with a big grain of salt, because this is I've only been in one relationship and it's a relationship that I'm going to stay in for the rest of my life. I have never been in another relationship, so I don't know what a toxic relationship is. However, knowing that it's not always about feelings. What how do I even describe it? Like, when I say feelings, it's like you don't always have to feel attracted to them 24/7. You don't always have to feel lovey-dovey, cuddly with them 24/7. You don't always have to be talking to them, having conversations with them, or always have this need to be talking to them and like just interacting at all times for it to be considered healthy. A good healthy relationship, like, it's like two individuals coming together, for they're there as a team, but they are individuals as well. Like, I have my life, I have my priorities and my goals. She has her life, she has her priorities and her goals, and we mesh and we bond together. And when I say love is a choice, you choose to show up for them. You choose to be patient with them. You choose to be kind to them. You choose to be the person that reaffirms them. You choose to be the person that supports them, encourages them, that shows acts of kindness, follows their love languages, whether that's physical touch, whether that's words of affirmation, whether that's acts of service, whatever it is, you choose to make all those decisions in the moment because you're choosing to love this person. Love is a choice, it's not a feeling. I hope that was insightful for you guys. That last one was my favorite. But honestly, last thing that I'll touch on, my dad, he loves to say that I've made a lot of wrong decisions in my life. And we honestly just don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. I still love my dad, and that's my dad. That's okay that we don't see eye to eye on things. But one of his favorite things to say is that you'll just learn the hard way, or welp, I had to learn the hard way. He says that about his life a lot, and a little bit more than I think it's healthy. He's like, "Yeah, well, I just had to learn the hard way." Well, his life was hard, and he had to just learn things on its own, which was the hard way. So I don't blame him for saying that. Yeah, it's one of his favorite things to say, and I think this applies perfectly to the idea of some lessons have to be experienced to be learned. You have to learn the hard way. If you're gonna choose to, like, mess up early on in life and make dumb decisions, like I have in some ways, then you're going to learn the hard way. I'll give you one more. The idea of discipline and time management, I never took that seriously when I was in my high school years or in college for that matter. I did not prioritize it at all. And I experienced the downtimes of not being disciplined and not being good with time management. I am facing with those consequences now because it's a big learning curve to like be consistent with yourself, right? Like you can't be like I can't be consistent for someone else, or I can't be consistent for other people if I can't be consistent with myself. It's an active thing that I practice every single day to be consistent with myself, because if I am and if I show up for myself, then I'll be able to show up for my relationship. I'll be able to show up for my parents, my friends, their needs, all of that. One of my favorite quotes by Russ, pretty sure, pretty confident I mentioned it once or twice on this podcast, and it's by Russ, the artist. He goes, most people are judged off of their work ethic the wrong way because we are judged on how good we do at things that we are not passionate about. Like our work ethic is judged off of doing work that we don't like. But if we have something that we like and something that we say we're passionate about, we should base our work ethic and our time management skills and our discipline behind that thing based off of what we like. And that was his whole quote, which I paraphrased, of course. Yeah, this was kind of all over type of episode, but I just wanted to make this episode as a reminder that some days and sometimes in life you just have to experience the hard shit in order to learn the lesson. And yeah, the people who do have the stubbornness, the pride and ego like myself, craft your own path, write your own script, because there are things that we'll learn along that path and along that script in life where we will be like, "Oh, that's why my dad told me that. Oh, that's why this person taught me this thing, or oh, this is why this is important." You just learn that lesson in a little bit of a harder way down the line. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, share with a friend. Follow me on socials, Creapact Podcast, CREAPACT Podcast. And lastly, leave me a 4 or 5 star review. I will appreciate you a ton. And like I always say, my friends, take care. Tell someone that you love them and go do something nice for someone today because they genuinely, genuinely, genuinely deserve it. Much love, people, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.